A sincere expression of gratitude to our esteemed patrons for their generous monthly contributions.
Sarah and Brooke,
Cousin Mark and Ashling,
Karen and Kate,
Stephanie and Courtney,
Lynn and Margie.
You too can become a valued patron and unlock a realm of exclusive content by supporting our mission for as little as $3 a month. Your contributions sustain our commitment to delivering high-quality content. Visit wickedwanderingspodcast.com and click on the support tab to join the ranks of our dedicated patrons. Thank you for considering this opportunity to deepen your engagement with Wicked Wanderings. Your support is paramount in enabling us to continue our journey into the realms of mystery and true crime.
Courtney, what did you have for breakfast today?
Shit.
I don't think I ate breakfast today.
Oh, why not?
Not healthy, Courtney.
I never eat breakfast. What did you have for breakfast today?
I had a large sweet tea with no ice and a steak and onion, egg and cheese on a bagel from McDonald's.
I was going to say it was from McDonald's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What did you have, Hannah?
And 2 hash browns.
So Rob's been really good about making me breakfast.
But not himself.
Well, no, he does. But like this morning, like he wouldn't get his ass out of bed. He's like, oh, I just want to go get McDonald's. So I went to Starbucks and I got my sausage, egg and cheese wrap, which I actually really like.
See, I can't eat Starbucks' food.
Oh, why not?
I don't like their food. I don't know why. I've never liked their food.
I understand.
Did I tell you about our new sponsor?
For Wicked Wanderings?
Yeah, this episode's brought to you by Starbucks.
In our dreams. Okay. Hi, I'm Hannah.
And I'm Courtney.
Join us as we delve into true crime, paranormal encounters, and all things spooky.
Grab your flashlight and get ready to wander into the darkness with us.
This is Wicked Wanderings. So first of all, hello everyone. Happy Samhain. Happy Halloween. My throat was going to talk at you a couple more times. I'm sorry. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Hannah.
Thank you for being committed to this podcast and being here not feeling well. We love you for it.
I should be sponsored by Dayquil.
Hi, Rob.
Hello.
We're glad to have you here again. We appreciate you. And
Yes, I'm all done with the Big E.
thank fucking God. I love the Big E, but then once it's over, it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, the traffic. I'm definitely...
The traffic.
The traffic.
How many hours did we spend in it that time we decided to go?
Over 2.
In traffic.
And it's a 10-minute drive, guys, with no traffic.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
We were committed. We were committed for the beer. And the
beer
food.
and Rob and
And
the
t-shirts.
food.
All right, so what are we...
And the t-shirt.
And the
Oh, the
t-shirts.
Oh my
t-shirts,
God,
yes.
that's right.
Which I'm actually wearing one today.
Yes,
It's a
you
nice
are.
looking one.
Yeah. So what
Who's on your t-shirt, though? You can tell everyone. No one can see
Oh,
it.
yeah, so...
You got Jason on there.
Yes, it's Jason, and it says running team.
Yeah, it says Camp Crystal Lake on it, running team, which is hilarious if you've ever seen the movies. And I got Jack Skeleton on mine today.
Nightmare before coffee.
No, Nightmare Before Coffee.
Sometimes after coffee.
Which, now I'm a tea girl, thanks to you, Courtney. So, like, this doesn't... So, I tried having a coffee the other day.
Didn't work, did it?
So we went to Tandem Bagel, and we got a breakfast, and I was like, oh, I don't feel like making a tea. It really was just laziness on my part.
That happens to me sometimes too.
And I was like, oh, I'll just get a cold brew with foam on top, like nothing fancy.
Not the same.
And I had such a coughing fit, right? Like such a coughing fit. It was not like I'm allergic, but I felt like it was just like lodged in my throat. I'm like, I can't. I had Rob finish it. I couldn't do it.
But when you went to Starbucks, did you get a pumpkin spice?
No, I always have my tea now in the morning, and then I got my breakfast. Yeah. No, I don't drink coffee anymore.
I had a green tea unsweetened from Dunkin the other day.
How was that?
It was really good.
I feel like Dunkin is very hit or miss. Sometimes
Yeah.
I get a tea from them, like an iced tea, and it's perfect. And sometimes I get one and I'm like, what is in this?
No, it was really good.
Even though they're supposed to be all the same, no matter what chain you go to, right?
No.
It's or franchise or whatever. It's not. It depends on who's working, what time of day it is, if there's a
100%.
huge line. I don't know. Yeah.
You know what else I got there? I got this. It was like a chicken wrap. But it was really good. It was like melted cheese in it. I don't know. It was really good. I got 2 of them because they're really tiny. I needed lunch, and I was in Hamden, and there's
nothing in Hamden
except for Dunkin' Donuts. So that I got a green tea and 2 of those chicken things. But they're really good. You know what Dunkin' needs to bring back is their chicken salad on a croissant. Oh my God, that was so good. I miss it.
I feel like they're trying every so often to bring in like a lunch piece.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're irrelevant afternoon. Did you see on TikTok where they had the spider donut on Dunkin' that was like, if you do 1 like, we'll release our holiday menu. And then they were like, we had to cancel that spider donut.
Oh, the one that has the munchkin in the middle?
Yeah. It was cute. It was a good marketing ploy. I'll give them that. They definitely have some creative marketing happening.
All right, Hannah, what are we doing today?
Guys, this is the last, and I promise you, last Bundy episode.
What is this, like episode 42 of Bundy?
Is it our 2nd year anniversary yet?
Excuse me. The both of y'all are so mean, okay? I've really enjoyed getting to know Bundy. I know this sounds weird, but I've really enjoyed reading Anne Rule's book and understanding more of the intricacies. Big word, Courtney, help me. Intricacies? You know what I'm trying to say? The intricacies?
Interesting facts about him.
Yes. There we go.
I feel like I knew a lot about Bundy, but I feel like I've also learned a lot of new things too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody. I can't find my spot on this mic today.
You're
I'm
good.
like trying not to breathe into it like Darth Vader, and then I get closer to it, and I'm like,
or the kid from Hey Arnold, who just stands behind people. And goes,
that's what I feel like. I was hoping the Dayquil was going to make it better, but I don't think it did.
Well, before we jump into Ted Bundy, I'll let everyone know, if you haven't listened to the previous 3 episodes of Ted Bundy, it's episode 53, episode 56, and episode 59. So that will be Ted Bundy part 1, part 2, and part 3. And again, it's 53, 56, and 59.
Thank you, Rob.
What would we do without our wonderful producer?
I know. I'm just like, yeah, here's the episode. So
Rob makes us sound pretty.
he does.
I wish I could say he made us look pretty when he does his TikTok shenanigans on video. I wish he could figure out video editing. Can you make me like 75 pounds lighter? In real life.
And don't they say the camera adds 10 pounds too?
I feel like the camera adds like 75
excuse me.
pounds.
I'm sorry, everybody. Okay.
On that happy note.
So, remember we talked about the teeth marks?
Yes.
Okay, so going back to the teeth marks that were found on the body when they were at the sorority house, right? They actually brought Ted to a dentist, and they wanted to get impressions of his teeth, right? They did not tell him, which in the end he was very pissed about. But what they were nervous about, and something if we go back to a couple past episodes, is that Bundy, when he finds out about things, he will have no problem in making his body different, right? He'll lose weight. He'll manipulate his body in different ways. Like we talked about, he's a freaking chameleon.
He really is. He really
will change
is.
his body. So they were so worried that he was going to start grinding his teeth or changing them in some way that the impressions would be different.
But like legally wise, right? Let's think about that. Dental is also medical records, right? It's still considered medical records. So even though they're investigating him without his consent, I don't know that they could do that.
So actually that was a thought I had.
I would be pissed too. I'm with Bundy on this one.
I don't know if it's because it's Florida, and Florida's rules are pretty loose when it comes to people that are convicted felons or
it's a Southern mentality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or in the process of being convicted. So Ted was getting pretty nervous because Florida had dozens of people on death row. Dozens. And when we look at, where he was in Washington, in Utah, their death row was not like Florida at all. Like he would probably just gone to life sentence for the things he's done, but Florida had no problem in putting someone in the electric chair. So he went on trial for the murders, and his cell was pretty bland. He didn't have much outside time, which is a lot different than when he's had before, where he had his typewriter. He had to have,
He was like living lavish inside a prison. Yeah.
Made sure he had 3 meals a day, went to the law library. Like, it was pretty, the least amount of things happened for him on a daily basis. Like,
they weren't tolerating his crap. They were like, not today.
He still claimed he was innocent, and he tried suing for inhumane treatment, which, I don't know. I think the things that he fought for when he was in prison before were rightly so. Because I remember when Rob was like, wait a minute, they didn't have 3 meals a day. I think that's something that a human right should have, right?
That's a basic human right.
Access to a bathroom and literature and 3 meals a day. Those should be things that every person should have. And outside time, because all of us need some like
fresh air too.
Yes, vitamins in our skin through the sun. So
vitamin D.
Exactly. So Carol Ann Boone is his new love interest, and she's now his new sweetheart. She is the person that's by his side. Pretty much she's a groupie. Like, let's be honest, people. She's just a groupie. He does end up marrying her. They end up having a sensual visit.
Conjugal.
Thank you.
Conjugal visit.
They do end up having a child together, which I don't know. I would love, I don't know if they already have. I've never seen anything, but I would love for the offspring of Ted Bundy to actually make some type of podcast episode or some type of documentary to kind of see where they are.
Do you know what year this kid was born?
All right. So he died in 89. It was soon after that. So it's probably like my age.
Okay.
I would think.
I mean, and there's a good chance too that he didn't want anything that the child doesn't want anything to do with it, right?
Probably,
I mean,
exactly.
I can imagine they've been quite a spectacle probably every single place they've went. So I could see that going either way, capitalizing on who you are in your story or being like, nope, I'd rather totally go the opposite way.
But
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Or the what was her name? Anne?
No, wait. Anne that wrote the book, or Meg, his old girlfriend?
The wife.
Carol.
No, so he only has one wife, Carol Ann Boone. He had a good girlfriend, Meg Anders.
Who did he have a kid with?
Carol
Ann Boone.
Carol. So if Carol didn't tell the offspring who the father was.
But she seemed like such a woman that was proud of what he was. She was a big advocate with Ted Bundy's mother to being like, he doesn't deserve the electric chair. We need to have him just have life in a prison somewhere. So I think she was proud of him and who he was. Especially when she was coming in. So like Meg Anders, like she didn't know who Ted Bundy was, right? She really was just in love with him as the person he was. And Carol Ann Boone knew exactly who he was.
Right, because she met him after he was already in jail, I presume.
And she was okay with it.
Which is interesting. I mean, there's someone out there for everybody, right?
Right.
But it is interesting.
But if you already know he's in prison for, I think he admitted to 30 murders at that point. There's no like saying, oh, I didn't know. Like she knew exactly what she was getting into.
Right. And if he admitted to them, it's not like it's, oh, well, I'm being tried for these, but I haven't been convicted yet.
Right.
It's I admitted to them.
But he never got over Meg. He never got over Meg. And I think that was the love that was lost. And he missed his turn is really what happened. So for the murder trials, Bundy threw everything he got at it. He got the judge changed. He tried changing public defenders. He wanted to be a certain way coming into the courthouse. Like, I need to present a certain way because I know there's going to be media out there. He threw his 2 cents into the jury selection. Like, he tried everything. And Bundy's mom and his new woman, who we know as Carol Ann Boone, tried convincing him to plead guilty to a lesser plea of 2nd-degree murder in order, obviously, not to get the electric chair, hopefully, and just to get some jail time, and maybe there could be a chance of parole. So Florida just executed someone in the electric chair, which probably scared Bundy shitless, I'm sure, because he knew that Florida meant business. And while the discussion was happening, Bundy did not go through with it. So they went through the jury picking. Bundy had a lot to say. They ended up being mostly middle-aged and Black people, which I thought was interesting.
That is very interesting. Were any of his victims black?
No. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if... So as we know in our culture, there is a lot of disproportionate people of African American descent or people of color that get convicted of things. So I don't know if he knew that. I mean, he was in school for law.
And he was very intelligent. He knew how to manipulate a situation. It's just interesting to me that you're saying he went through with all these different strategies and he put all this effort into court. And when you think about it, usually you only see that much effort into how do I look and all those things when you're trying to prove yourself innocent. But he was going in saying he was going to plead guilty and he admitted to 30 murders. So it's like, what is he trying to...
Let me back up. So in the end, right, the end of his story, he had said he killed 30
Okay, so he hasn't done that yet.
No.
I was like, what is this guy doing?
No.
Is this a game?
So I was just trying to prove what, to Rob's point, like, oh, maybe Caroline Boone didn't know. Like, no, she knew what she was getting into. Yeah. And so to this point where we are in his story, he's still pleading like, I have nothing to do with any of this.
Okay, and that makes far more sense.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I skipped ahead, everybody. If someone's
I still think it's far-fetched that they would have ever, even if it was second degree, like, oh yeah, maybe you'll get out. I mean, for the number of women...
Yes.
In Florida?
Just in Florida, right? These aren't even the cases that were in Washington State,
It's not all encompassing.
Utah. Exactly. So there is a list of who the jurors were, but I just want to talk about like who they were and what they did for a living and where they stood on the death penalty.
I think that's an interesting point.
So, and here I am quoting everybody. So one was a clothing designer who leaned away from the death penalty.
Okay.
Another person was a woman who was a bookkeeper. She sparked laughter in the courtroom during her jury selection. When she failed to recognize Ted as the defendant, she had no idea who the guy was, which was in favor with Ted, right? There was a worker in the mailroom of the Miami Herald who said he didn't have time to read the papers he helped to put out, so he knew nothing about it. So when they were talking about coming up with the jury, I'm like, oh my God, it must have been so hard
for such a big case.
Pick people near Miami that did not know what was going on. But apparently there are people out there like, yeah, I have no idea who this guy is. Like, who's Ted Bundy?
Well, I mean, and if you think about it, so like I'm a good example of this, but not for true crime stuff. Like if it's crime related, I'm interested. But you could ask me about a lot of different things that are in the news and I would be like, no, I don't have I would fall into that category of no, I don't have time. I'm not as informed as a lot of people would prefer to be. So I can see it if you're really not into that kind of thing. You're not a little on the morbid side.
And if he did do most of his crimes out west,
right,
and then just like these crimes that happen within basically a weekend, you're probably like, I don't know what you're talking about,
right?
Well, in Florida, were they only prosecuting him for Florida crimes, or was this
just Florida crimes?
Yeah, they could only do for the state that they're in.
Right.
So this is just for the woman that was killed in her home, and then the murders and the bodily abuse that happened to the women in the sorority house.
So he never got prosecuted for those other crimes out west.
Because he already got the death penalty,
right?
You know,
but sometimes they will. Like I want to say it was Louis Lent who he got charged in one, and then it was like with the understanding that you'll never get out of jail en masse. But if for some reason you were, your ass belongs to New York now.
Exactly.
New York's got fair game on you because you also have a life sentence. He has a life sentence in 2 states.
Exactly. And Florida was not giving him up, though. At all.
They were like, this guy dies here.
Yes, exactly. There was one that was a senior project engineer for Texaco. He said he only read technical journals, so like newspaper was not in his realm. There was another guy who was a high school teacher who was a deacon in his church. Another woman who was a housewife who watched soap operas. There was a woman that was a maid and a churchgoer whose nephew was actually a policeman. Another gentleman who's a sports enthusiast who rarely read the newspaper. So I'm not going to bother you with all of them, but I guess I just wanted to make the point of like, these people literally had no idea. They were mostly the same ethnicity, which I thought was very interesting.
Well, when did this take place? The early 80s, the trial?
No, late 80s, I would say. Because it only took them a couple years to get executed.
Wow, which is absolutely crazy because that would never happen nowadays.
Yeah.
No, it drags out for a long time.
Yeah. If this trial took place in we're just going to...
The late 80s.
We're going to go broad and say the 80s.
Yeah.
There's no social media.
Correct.
There's no smartphones. There's no smart watches.
Right.
There's no news.
Internet.
There's no internet. There's news that has alerts and stuff like that. So I can say that it's pretty normal that these people, if they're not watching the news or reading the newspaper, they don't know exactly what's going on.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And if they weren't interested in that kind of thing, they were going to skip right past it.
Yeah.
So Anne Rule, who wrote the book, who was a close friend of Bundy, right? She was there as press during a pretrial. And she was shocked by the amount of press that he had, the groupies that he had that, set Ted Bundy free and all this shit. And how good Bundy looked. She was very shocked by that too. And when he saw her, he smiled and winked, which seems like a typical Bundy response.
Kind of creepy, but kind of okay, I guess.
So Anne introduced herself to Carol because she knew, like, oh, this is the new love interest. And Carol said, "Yes, I've heard of you," and walked away. And when you look, have you seen a picture of Carol Ann?
No.
Okay, so I'm just going to show Courtney, everybody, the picture that's in the middle of the book of Carol.
We're going to get my raw reaction, I guess.
Okay, so I won't say anything.
We'll see if your first impression and my first impression are the same. Oh. I mean, she looks like a serial killer herself.
Right?
She doesn't look like the kind of person I would approach and try to have a conversation with in public.
Right?
Also, side note, because people know I'm weird, this is one of those books that feels amazing in your hands.
Doesn't it? Yes.
It looks like it would be that kind of book, but my goodness, it's so like it's soft cover, everyone, but it's like floppy and the pages are thin and it has a texture. I got to give it back before I break it.
Again, I will say Anne Rule, The Stranger Beside Me, has been one of the best books I have read on just a biography and on a serial killer itself. It just has been fantastic. I actually still, surprisingly, am not done with it, but it's just kind of like the afterword, and she added thoughts years later and whatnot. So, but
I bet that perspective is going to be very interesting too. And, obviously this is our last Bundy episode, but I thought my Tony Costa was going to be one episode too. And then the more I consumed about him, it became two, just because it was like, okay.
So maybe there'll be like a 10-minute snippet. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. If not, Rob will cut it and we'll just talk about it, you and I. But I would be interested to know from someone who knew him what her afterthoughts were years later.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So anyway, so that happened with Carol Ann Boone, and I don't think Anne Rule was very impressed.
Not a girl's girl.
No. It seemed like the way she wrote it, it just seemed like she was like, yeah, I'm with Bundy now. Like, okay, fuck you, bitch.
Like, she's like, I was never with Bundy. Maybe she had the like impression because he maybe spoke highly of Anne or something like that.
I think so, because she was like, oh, I wasn't that other girlfriend. Like,
no, there were many before you, sweetie, but it wasn't me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the pre-trial finished quickly and efficiently, and the defense was tired and asked to start the next trial on Monday. The judge did not budge. Bundy was pissed. Obviously, he wanted a couple extra days to research and everything. So on July 17th, Bundy was not in his seat where he should have been. Everyone's like, where's Bundy?
How does a man who's incarcerated end up not where he needs to be is a good question.
Oh, well, Bundy has this way about him. So 1 a.m. that morning, Ted threw an orange. Yes, an orange at a light outside his cell, throwing a little tantrum, everybody.
An orange size
So
tantrum.
they moved him to a different cell, and they checked his old cell where he came from and found bits of broken light bulb that he was collecting. So they went to get him for court in his new cell, and he jammed the lock with nothing other than toilet paper. And
so
he said
they couldn't get him out.
They couldn't get him out. And he said, I'll be there when I feel like it.
I mean, I guess to his credit, he's already in the cell. He's already being treated like a criminal. So what difference did it really make to him?
Right. He's like, listen, I already know I'm going to be on death row.
If he thought it was going to give him a prayer of a hope. I mean, I guess I can't say that I would do the same thing, probably because I'm not that smart to realize that I could totally jam a lock with toilet paper.
But toilet paper?
He had multiple plans. I mean, I wonder what he was going to do with those broken light bulbs, though. Who was he going to attack?
I mean, great. Okay, listen. They're incarcerated in a state cell. They can't have Charmin, everybody. Like, this must be Scott's
You're
toilet
talking
paper.
0.5 ply toilet paper, not even 2 ply. You're talking 0.5 ply.
Because I don't know about everyone else. I'm picky about my toilet
Me
paper. If it changes, I have a problem with
These
it.
buns are particular.
Yes.
Yeah, so we get our toilet paper from Amazon, and we use the Charmin, the blue brand, the blue one.
Ah.
And
yeah, well, yes, please continue.
they did not have it, so they sent us the red one, but it was still Charmin. But the blue one is like extra soft, pillow soft, and then the red one is like extra firm, heavy duty, and you can definitely tell a difference.
Definitely.
Is that why my bathroom experience here hasn't been the same?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
So do you guys do like the Amazon like subscribe and
Yes.
save? I haven't ever done that because I'm afraid they're going to send them to me before I need it.
So you get an alert
Oh,
like 10 days before,
and you can change it?
and you can either skip it, or you can say, yes, I need it.
So do you do that for a lot of things? Or do
Yes.
You, yeah.
Yeah, we usually get something every month.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff, and
So you guys don't do like the Costco or anything then?
we do Costco, but we don't do Costco for that kind of stuff.
You shop around? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
But for our toilet paper and the paper towels,
the dog food,
the
there's
cleaners for the toilet,
Yeah, okay.
There's a spray we use in case Kenzie has an accident on the floor,
which she normally does.
so we get that like every 6 months, and
Unless she's been doing it a lot than 3 months.
yeah, my deodorant, her deodorant,
My deodorant.
toothpaste. So the stuff that you would normally get at Costco, but we just have it on a subscription, so we didn't even have to think about it. And I'm to the point now that we've been doing it so long that I have the months pretty much set up accordingly
That's cool.
when they come. So, and if you need it early, you can go on and you can change it. Say, I need it this month instead of next
Oh,
month.
that's cool. I
Yeah.
should play around with that. I've never
Yeah.
tried it before.
Yeah.
Does somebody else hear that screeching?
Yeah,
probably
it's
outside.
Halloween. I
children.
keep forgetting that it's Halloween and there's kids outside trick or treating.
And our windows are
"Why?
open because
Smell
we live
children."
we live in New England and it's currently 73 degrees out.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Rob's
we
in
gotta move
shorts.
more north. Yeah.
Rob's always in shorts.
I can
what are you
see
talking
all
about?
of Rob's calves, and my goodness, guys, you are missing out.
Look at him. He's flexing. He's like, oh my God, I love this.
So this new girl started at White Lion.
Oh God.
last weekend, and
what are you going to tell me?
no, she used to be a Springfield police officer, and then decided to do a different career change. Anyways, she
By
came
serving
in-
beer?
I wasn't going to say it on the air.
Okay, sorry.
No.
Just cut
This
that
isn't
part.
a new career change. She left the police force in like 2020, and she opened up her own business, and she's worked in nightclubs before, but she wanted something a little bit less.
Trying to figure out what this
Intense.
lady's got with our husband's calves.
Anyways, so she's like, "Damn, look at your calves; they're huge."
I need a social security number, date of birth, address, name for this person.
You got nothing to worry about. I get wow, I can't even say the word. What am I trying to say?
Complimented.
I get complimented on my calves all the time.
Rob's face is cherry red right now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So you know how I hike?
Yes.
Yeah. So my trail name is Calves, and you don't pick your own trail name. It's given to you
By who?
by other people on the trail.
Just
So-
random people walk by you. They're like, "What up, Stinky?" And that's your name.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't like it, you can, you
So
can
you do
pass
get to
on it.
pick your name. If you don't like it, you get to change it.
No, you can accept it or reject it. And
So in a sense, you get to choose it.
it's not like I picked it.
Okay,
but someone
Calves.
said, "Do you have a trail name?" And I said, "No." They said, "Your new trail name is Calves." I was like, "I like it. Let's go with it."
I'm gonna get him a T-shirt that says, "Hello, my name is Calves."
I actually got him a
Sticker. It's like a
Yeah.
vinyl sticker.
that's supposed to go like on his water bottle when he hikes that says that's from the Appalachian Trail and my trail name is Calves. And I had it made for him.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it yet on anything, but
I don't know what to put it on. I mean,
It's too special. I
I'm
get that way
thinking-
about stickers.
I'm thinking I might put it on my truck window, but I might wait until I
You
buy
get
a
a new
new
truck.
truck.
See, I get that. I'm very sentimental about my stickers. Like, if somebody gives me one, what do I put it on? Because I don't want to have to throw the thing away or upgrade that thing, and then I don't have the sticker for
Right,
it.
Do you know that's a thing? And it's been like with millennial people where it's like,
Sticker-phobia.
have you kids ever had like stickers that you treasured and you had no idea what to do with them? Like, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
you put
that's
them in
me.
a sticker
That's
book.
me.
You make a sticker book that's just for your stickers.
But then I'm afraid I'm going to put it in the wrong position or a wrong place. And then I want another one.
I only have 2 stickers on my Kindle because somebody gave them to me for free. And I was like, I don't love them, but they'll do.
All right, can we get back to Bundy?
No.
Oh, you want more Bundy? Here we go.
Enough cows. Put your cows away. We're distracted.
He's like,
I know. He's like flexing them at me.
Rob, no one wants to see them. Stop trying to make fetch happen.
I want to see them.
Fetch happen.
Yeah, Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
And on Wednesdays, we wear pink.
You go, Glen Coco.
Original Mean Girls.
Yeah, none of this
Not the new one.
shit.
Not
Your
the new one.
mama's Mean Girls doesn't happen. Okay, anyways.
Back to Bundy.
Anyway, so the judge was pissed, right? And he said, all right, well, he's in contempt of court now because he's not fucking showing when he should. Bundy shows up ranting and raving about his rights. Judge was fair, but said, dude, you're on trial for murder. There's
What
only
the fuck?
so many rights you're
Right.
gonna have. Like, you shove toilet paper in the keyhole. Like,
After
come
needing
on.
to get a new cell because you were throwing oranges like a wild man.
Oranges, exactly.
Oh, Bundy.
So back to the teeth marks. Okay. Dr. Suveron made his case how teeth are individualized. He talked to them about having like fingerprints. It's individualized to who you are. Because I know if I took my teeth prints, took your teeth prints, took Rob's teeth prints, they're all different,
Yeah,
right?
the shape of the teeth based on dental work, based
Yes,
on where
how
you
you
bite.
bite
Yeah, the
down,
pressure
exactly.
points. Yeah.
So this was fairly new in the 70s, right? Defense described it as half art, half science, which Suveron agreed. But he also agreed that to do this, it gets better with experience, right? So he's like, I've had enough experience with this, but I can tell you that this is scientifically based, that these are Ted Bundy's teeth marks. So the defense questioned if the teeth will make the same mark over and over, right? So if I bite you, Courtney, over and over and over on your arm, is it still going to make the same impression?
It depends, right?
Well,
It depends on how deep I'm biting. It depends on the position of your arm as opposed to the position of my teeth.
right. But I guess if they found out how I bit you, right, straight on, to the side.
Could they match all of those to the same person? Yeah, okay.
So the doctor was ready for this response. He's like, I got this.
He trained for it.
He got the imprints and tested it on cadavers. And
Creepy.
I loved this. The defense wanted clarification, and he said he did them on cadavers, and the doctor said, I couldn't find live volunteers
To bite.
to bite on. Anyways, he didn't get any willing live participants, so he used cadavers. So once again, Bundy was not happy with his representation, because that's what he does.
It's only good when it's himself.
Yes. So the judge granted he defend himself with public defenders as advisors. But the judge had never seen the amount of overturn that Bundy had done, which is true. Because Bundy kept saying, no, they're not great. They're not great. I need to do it myself. They're
It
not
was
great.
strategic, though, because he was getting what he was like, every time he did that, he would get a recess.
It's
because
a
whenever they
control
reassign,
thing.
yes,
Absolutely.
100%.
So before prosecutors did their closing arguments, Bundy brought a witness to the stand to talk about the dental imprints. And Bundy claimed he did not always have the chip in his tooth. In fact, it happened 2 months after the sorority killings, according to him. He wanted the newspapers from Utah that had pictures of his smile to send photos over to prove, but no one budged on it, which I think that was far-fetched. I don't think he would have gotten it done anyways, and I don't think it would have
Right.
proved anything.
And depending on where the chip in your tooth was, because like when you think about it, chips are often like on the facial part of it, like the front of the tooth.
Right.
So how much of a difference would it have really made?
Again, I think to your point, he was trying to have it delayed.
Yeah,
Is
it's
really what he
and
was trying to
exactly
do.
what you said. One of the most interesting parts about his kind of psyche for me is just that need for control, but he seems so docile, but it's all about control. It's like he wants to have control, but he doesn't want it to look like he wants to have control.
So July 23rd, less than 7 hours, the jury finds him guilty of all charges. And I'm going to read and here I am quoting, "It is ordered that you be put to death by a current of electricity, that the current be passed through your body until you are dead." So the reason I quoted that is because I can't imagine standing there and being like, you are going to die by electrocution.
And then they had to really clarify by saying, and we are going to put that electricity through you until you are dead.
Yes.
It's like they really got to drive that point home. They were like, we really need him to understand that you are going to die because of this.
Yes.
Seems very specific.
It is very specific.
I wonder if legally there's some, and if any one of the Wanderers knows, write into us. I wonder if there's like a legal reasoning why they have to say it in such a specific way.
So I am going to list off, Anne Rule has this list in here about talking about the dead or who are gone, who may still be alive after their incidents with Ted Bundy. So I'm just going to read them off again, just as to reinstate like who these victims were. So please bear with. Catherine Mary Devine is dead. Brenda Baker is dead. Joni Lenz is alive. Linda Ann Healy is dead. Donna Manson is gone. Susan Rancourt is dead. Roberta Kathleen Parks is dead. Brenda Ball is dead. Georgia Ann Hawkins is gone. Janice Ott is dead. Denise Naslund is dead. Melissa Smith is dead. Laura Am is dead. Carol DeRange Swenson is alive. Debbie Kent is gone. Karen Campbell is dead. Julie Cunningham is gone. Denise Oliverson is gone. Shelley Robertson is dead. Melanie Cooley is dead. Lisa Levy is dead. Margaret Bowman is dead. Karen Chandler is alive. Kathy Kleiner DeShields is alive. Cheryl Thomas is alive. Kimberly Leach is dead. So I guess I just wanted to read those because I know we talked about a lot of the victims, but I just think having like a solid reminder of the people that were victimized by this man is important.
That's a heavy list too. I mean, I think
It is.
I could feel the mood while we were all sitting here and we were all kind of just, I mean, Rob and I were listening while Hannah was reading it, and that's really heavy. You know?
Heavy.
And I know we want to really make sure that we're pivoting to telling the stories, but also making sure that we're victim focused too, where we're not supporting the person who did it. We want to make sure that, you know, the victims and their families always feel like they were represented too.
And when she says they're gone, I have a feeling it's because they haven't found their remains.
Right.
But they are not with their families now.
That was going to be my question. What's the difference between dead and gone?
Yeah, I just don't think their remains have been found.
Which is so sad too, because I think about those poor families that, you know, you really puts you in that piece where you don't, like we talked about it with Lynn Burdick. The family has no ability to move on. They're stuck in this position where they're like moving. Do I move forward or do I stay here? And I just really feel for those families. Yeah. I think that's probably harder than having someone be dead. There's the not knowing.
So January 24th, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed around 7 a.m. And he was executed by electrocution. I guess they called the electrocution chair in Florida Old Sparky, which I think was
I've heard
morbid.
that. I've heard that.
But there were people waiting outside the prison telling him to burn, Ted Bundy burn, and people were very excited to see him gone. Ted Bundy was definitely a menace. He was a man that did a lot of harm in society, and behaviorally speaking, I would have loved to see this man saved and somehow maybe not released into society, but be able to do things to help society. But I just don't, the resources weren't there. And
it was a different time.
It's sad because he seemed like a man with potential, but it didn't happen. So that's the story of Ted Bundy.
That was really well done, Hannah.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, it was so long, but
people are going to miss you in Bundy, I think. Maybe not Rob, but everybody else.
I think it's a solemn time in history, and so I know my mom will be happy that it's done and over with, because it was a time that she was alive and very much aware, and a young woman herself. So I can't imagine how it was back then.
Yeah, I'm sure that makes it very raw.
Yeah. But and then I think, like, how did we do a disservice to Bundy? How could we have caught it earlier in his life?
Yeah. The questions I feel like you and I are always sitting here thinking about behavior-wise when we're done talking about somebody. I mean, I know with Tony Costa, he lived in my head because
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, all the things they missed, trauma-based, sexual assault, all of those things.
Yep.
And I think the farther we kind of get with the way we look at mental health things now with our field, especially like now we're seeing these behavioral things kind of earlier and we're intervening on them, hopefully before any of those other things could happen.
And I do not agree with the death penalty, which I think is something we talked about in our episode with Rob's cousin Patrick. I don't agree with the death penalty. Should he have been punished? Absolutely. I don't think we should release him to society
1000% no.
at all. But
There has to be another alternative.
there has to be.
I don't know what it would be, but I feel the same way.
Because what a terrible way to die. I'm not saying that these women didn't die terribly. I don't want to lose focus on that, but what a terrible way to die.
I think I get really focused on we're telling people that killing someone is wrong. And everybody has their different reasons why they feel like that's the truth. Or, I don't think anybody doesn't think that's the truth. And then our way of getting justice for that is not doing better while we punish you. It's we're going to do the same thing to you that we just made a spectacle out of saying. To me, like human life has to be worth something. And the fact that the law is so entangled with politics and then that's in charge of what's really deciding, I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to me.
And never mind the falsely accused.
Right. We talked about that a great extent. Like,
I mean, there's this one case right now in Texas where the gentleman was sentenced to death because of a shaken baby syndrome on their child 20 years ago. And they were supposed to be sentenced to death like a week ago. And it was held off because there's new evidence to show that shaken baby syndrome is not actually a thing. And there was underlying issues
Kind of
to
like
begin
SIDS.
with.
I was just going to
too,
say,
right?
sudden infant death syndrome. SIDS is a big one too.
Yeah, so there's people out there trying to get this guy off, and it's in Texas. They're trying to get him released because even the detectives on the case is saying that this guy is innocent.
Imagine that. 20 years.
Dude.
Yeah.
And then like
For
and,
something you didn't do?
well, and think about, I mean, beyond just like how do you readapt back, but like 20 years mentally when you didn't do the thing. Plus
That
you
sucks
just
to
lost
do.
your child.
Right.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You just lost your child and now you're thrown into a cell and treated like this person. That person really has like a very low chance without the right interventions of ever being typical again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge disservice we just did to that man.
Huge disservice. And there's so many issues with our legal system and also with our mental health system, which I know we've talked about.
Yeah.
And even if, like, let's say Ted Bundy was thrown into a mental asylum, there's so many other problems that probably would have risen, especially in like the late 80s, early 90s, that have to be fixed.
Yes.
Have to be fixed. And I'm glad that there's so much coming out with, trauma assumed and stuff like that, but still, it's broken. It's a system that's broken.
The general consensus that I find too when I'm talking to a lot of people about from different generations, like I'll talk to people in my family, and it seems to be like a lot of people think, oh, well, somebody accused that person, especially when it comes to kids, right? Somebody accused that person of killing an infant. Well, they don't deserve anything good in life. Well, they were just accused. I mean, if they're innocent, now you're taking somebody who needs mental health, and you're just the people who go to jail. They're not getting any of that,
right?
So what's really the point? We're just going to lock you up, leave you in there. We're not going to help treat you,
right?
And there has to be some line where like a basic human need also becomes medical, and that includes mental health. And mental health is not extra. It's not a it's
a human right.
It's a human right. Absolutely.
And even talking about convicted, sometimes people that are convicted aren't really in the wrong. They're innocent.
Yeah. And what if they had a severe mental health situation?
Right.
How do you we talk about in ABA parametric versus compartment analysis.
Oh God, we're going back to grad school here, everybody.
I mean, you got to take it apart, right? Component, each separate piece. And that's how you figure out what the root cause of something is.
You have to look at the whole
human. You can't just say, well, that person's evil because they did this one thing. What's the source of that?
So I guess like I could be evil because I lied to my mother at one point. That makes me evil forever.
To the right person, it would.
Right. So like as a small example, right? I'm evil because I lied to or I'm evil because I ran a red light. Not that I did, everybody. I'm just saying.
Except when she was listening to Smut that one time.
Good Lord. You heard it on that. Whew. That's a whole other thing.
It's just it's very interesting to me. I actually took a class in undergrad that was about prisons and the law. Everybody has their own sense of morality. So like you say running a red light and I'm like, whatever. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, nope, somebody who runs a red light. And because of that person's history of things that's happened to them, they put a higher value of that person's evil on that. I mean, murder's a pretty big one. I would say people who kill other people are usually considered morally wrong to everybody. But, to me, someone who steals, okay, my first question is, well, what did they steal? Because a man stealing a television is very different to me than a mother stealing a loaf of bread for her children.
Correct.
And I will die on that hill. There is a difference in a thief to me morally between those two situations.
Absolutely. And I also think based on the pigmentation of your skin. So if me as a white woman are like, oh shit, I'm late for work, I run a red light, I'm more likely not to get a ticket. But if you have a gentleman of a different pigmentation that's either African American or Hispanic descent, and they run a red light because they have to pick up their kid, they're more likely to get a ticket. So
and
there's
age,
that too.
Age plays a role in it too,
absolutely.
because I've definitely seen situations where like middle-aged people like ourselves might do something.
Don't mind me.
Right, and it's not a big deal at all.
Wait a minute, did you say middle-aged?
We're middle-aged.
Holy fuck, girlfriend.
Whereas young people, like, a young kid runs a red light, they're going to pull them over. They're going to make an example.
Right.
But
what do? You smoke a pot with your friends? Like, yeah. Yep. Are we ready for the card? Sorry, we got some Michael Myerson on here.
Pick a card, any card.
Myerson and Michael Myers. I meant Michael Myers. I love Halloween. Michael Myers is like my favorite. All right, so we got David Martins, and he is the 5 of diamonds.
I was like, spades? Nope, it's diamonds.
All right, so on Thursday, August 12th, 2010, at approximately 9:28 p.m., the victim was shot in the area of 531 Adams Street in Dorchester. If you have any info about this case, please call 1-855-MA-SOLVE. And again, this is the 5 of diamonds and David Martins. I feel like a lot of these are happening out east.
In Dorchester, Boston.
Wow.
I mean, Dorchester's a very prominent crime area.
It just breaks my heart.
I'm going to make up this number, but like 75-80% of the population in Massachusetts
true.
Very
lives
true.
east of Worcester.
That's true also.
Because our big cities are Boston, Worcester, and then Springfield, right?
Yeah, and Cambridge is number 4.
Yeah. So
Yeah, most of them are out that way. And there's a lot more. It's just population density wise, too.
Definitely, yep.
You get them all closed in tight, too.
it just breaks it. I
It's
can't
sad.
imagine.
Every one of these cards, I feel sad.
I think we did end up buying different cards online.
Yeah, did
right,
you
Rob?
get Connecticut?
I think I did, but I will check. Concussion problems.
Yeah.
But no, but
If not,
I thought
I'm going to.
you bought something.
No, Courtney said she was going to
Yeah,
buy.
it was me. I just don't remember if I clicked purchase on them or not, so I'll do that.
If not, we still have plenty of cards left, but
Yeah. How many are we down to?
I don't know.
They're
Which
on
is
the
also
floor.
sad. We have plenty of cards to go through. That just is not what I want to hear.
No.
Well, there's 52 cards in a deck, so
I know.
Yeah, but the
I
fact that
know.
we can fill one deck is kind
Yeah.
of sad,
yeah.
considering.
I just want to say thank you, Wanderers, for going through our Bundy thing together. I think I will take a break. I think, a break from just doing big serial
I was
killers.
like, is she breaking
No,
up with
no.
me? Congrats, you're a new co-host.
Yeah, 'cause I
now I'm
wanna-
going to leave you by yourself.
I want to do Manson. I want to do, the FLDF.
We gotta do a couple of one-offs.
FLDS with Warren Jeffs. That's what I'm thinking of. But I think I'm going to do some smaller ones right now. But thank you, Courtney, for dealing with my Bundy obsession.
Of course. Thank you for dealing with me breathing into the mic heavily. I did that as an after effect just for Halloween, everybody.
Ooh. I hope you all had a great Halloween, a great Samhain, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, next time we have an episode that falls on Halloween, we should probably have a Halloween special. But your episode came out yesterday because today is Thursday as we're recording.
Well, depending on how Courtney feels, she's going to do an episode.
I was going to do a
Halloween fact one. Listen, we all have full-time jobs, okay? Actually, all three of us own a company
Did
of
we
some
say
sort.
bye yet? No, okay.
Can we have Michael Myers come back on for the goodbye? All right, I'm saying goodbye. Sayonara, suckers.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah, for a great episode.
happy haunting.
It feels fitting to finish Bundy on Halloween. So
It does. It does
good night,
feel.
happy Samhain. Love you all. Bye, Courtney. Bye, Rob. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Wanderers. Thanks for listening today. Wicked Wanderings is hosted by me, Hannah.
And co-hosted by me, Courtney.
And it's produced by Rob Fitzpatrick.
Music by Sasha N.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave a rating and review, and be sure to follow on all socials. You can find the links down in the show notes. If you're looking for some really cozy t-shirts or hoodies, head over to the merch store. Thank you for being a part of the Wicked Wanderings community. We appreciate every one of you. Stay curious, keep exploring,
and always remember to keep on wandering.
Hey there, beer lovers. I'm Rob Fitz, host of Beers That Fits, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the craft beer world. Every Thursday, I sit down with passionate owners and brewmasters of your favorite breweries to uncover their stories, inspiration, and brewing secrets. Whether you're a seasoned beer connoisseur or just starting your craft beer journey, we've got something for everyone. So grab a pint, tune in, and let's toast to great beers and even better stories. Slanja. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.